All right, what's up, guys? Bellman Volk here. And today's topic, we'll be talking about how to actually get your clients results and avoid being an online marketing scammer, right? Because I've had many conversations where people ask me, like, so what do you do? And I'm like, yeah, I do online marketing. And they'll be like, okay, so you're a scammer. But anyway, jokes aside, before we dive into I'll be talking about 20 lessons I have learned from the successes, the successful launches or collaborations with clients, and also the failures that I've had with clients. Because of course, those have also been part of my journey. If I look a little bit sweaty, it's because it's extremely hot here. Like I'm in Airbnb in Nicosia in Cyprus, but it's actually so hot. It's like I think it's like 35 degrees Celsius or something. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, if I look like sweaty as hell like that, that's why. Anyway, let's get into it. So before we actually talk about the lessons, let me just quickly dive into some client success proof of myself so that you know that I'm not just talking out of my ass. And I'll just get into three. There's a couple more, but I don't want to like make it super long. So I had a lunch with Leo Wang. I'm not sure if you guys know. These are basically just fitness influencers, right? And before we came in, he was making around 2 to 3K on average. And I also want to say, like, I didn't do this all by myself. Of course, I had a team on the back of that, which we did it together with. So I cannot take all the credit, but I can say that I was aware of everything, every single thing that was happening and why we did it. So he was making 2 to 3K. We came in literally like 1 month later. He made $21,000 in 16 days. And after that, he made like $5,000 like per month, literally kind of like, to be honest, like doing almost nothing. Uh, so he basically doubled his base income, like while he didn't have to do anything, to be honest. Second example was Kevin here, who basically just wasn't making anything. He was like making 500 bucks from a school community. And after we came in, again, like a month later, because it takes time to set up a good launch, he made 10K in his first 30 days. It was actually 24 days that he made the 10K. This one was a little bit more. It was like 11K in total or something. Um, and then after that, also he was like making around like 5 to 8 at like the base. And now he's at 10K again, which is really, really cool. So as a base, right? It's not even long thing, just base. So this is Kevin. Then we have Jan. I know this has like a big number here, but that was more of a total from the that time. But basically, his situation was he was making around like 2 to 3 thousand pounds on average with his. He was getting tens of thousands of likes per post. Absolutely insane. Making only a couple $1,000s, right? So when we came in, we made like $10,000 in like 9 days. It was like crazy. And after that, really not that long, we scaled up to 25,000 per month. And also like this was not high ticket coaching. This was literally just digital program sales, right? So that was crazy. Very, very cool. And I want to kind of show you guys what's actually important to get these kinds of results for yourself, because obviously, like we take, at least in these launches, we take like a big percentage of the gross profit, basically. So yeah, when you get your clients big results, you can also get yourself big results. So that's the goal. So, but the biggest thing is that it's not really rocket science. Like I'm no one special. Uh, I don't have like any like super secret specific knowledge or anything that is not that you won't be able to find online. It's just that you need to have enough experience to avoid pitfalls, right? I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to like getting your client success. Uh, so let's get into it without further ado, because also I don't have that much time. So anyway, the first thing that you need to know or that you need to do is you need to only work with the right clients. Right? And also, I want to note I'll be looking at my phone sometimes just for notes. But for this point, it's very important. You cannot work with just anyone, right? If you work with just anyone, you're gonna get like the just anyone type of results. It's gonna be super mediocre. You have no idea if they're going to get results because every time the situation will be different. Please, please, please be very intentional in who you want to help and make sure that they have the right criteria. If you have a specific offer or service, think about your past results, like who actually got great results with my service or whatever, you know? Or if you don't have any great results, think about like who would get great results with my service or offer, and then be very, very specific about who that is, and then go only for those people, right? Because if you, bro, I'm telling you, if you're gonna like deviate from this and you're gonna be like, oh, this isn't really in place, but let's try it anyway, right? And I'm talking from my own experience, and it's a bad idea. It's gonna go wrong. You're gonna have a bad launch. Either you'll have to give a refund or you're not gonna make any commission. It's just terrible. Avoid it. It's a waste of time. Okay. Now, that being said, lesson number two is make sure that you focus on traffic and intent and not just followers. It's not because the client has hundreds of thousands of followers or millions of followers for that matter that you're going to actually make money. And I'm talking specifically about digital products or digital coaching, right? I'm not talking about clothing. I'm not talking about drop shipping. I'm talking about digital, basically knowledge, right? Digital knowledge. The followers don't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything, right? One is they need to have enough traffic, right? Because you have people, they have like hundreds of thousands of followers, and then you look at their likes, and they have like 10 likes per post. Do not work with these people, right? It's just not going to work. You don't have enough traffic, right? And also, I want to know, I'm talking about organic here, right? If you know ads, that's a different story. Okay, I'm talking from the lens of like helping people with organic. Although like traffic and intent is still important with ads as well, but you need to make sure that there is traffic, right? If they don't have any likes on their posts, if they don't have any comments, if nobody is watching their IG stories, if nobody is watching their YouTube videos, do not work with them, right? There is nobody to convert, okay? But the second thing is intent, and I'll talk about this more throughout throughout the lessons because you'll notice that they're kind of like overlapped sometimes. But with intent is, I mean, people need to have the intent to change. They need to have the intent to make a transformation. Because if they are just watching these people for entertainment purposes, they are not going to buy a product where they have to put in work to get a transformation. It's just not going to happen, right? So, how can you kind of pivot this? Like most of the time, the audiences with highest intent will be asking questions in the comments. So if people are asking questions like, how did you get these results? Hey, how do I do like this type of exercise? Hey, how do I structure my program? Blah, 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 blah. You'll see more intentional questions, right? You'll notice it in the DMs. Are people asking how they got the results and like if they can share like how they did it, et cetera, et cetera. That's a very strong indication. And also you'll notice is if your client or potential client prospect is posting educational content, actually explaining how he made a specific transformation, not just only showing the outcome, right? Of course, you need to show the outcome, but if there's no education, if he isn't showing like people why they should do it or how they need to do it, then people very likely won't have the intent to do it themselves, right? And I won't get like much deeper into this, otherwise this video is going to be like an hour long. So let's get into number three. Clients should already have a proven offer or concept, right? And what I mean is if you have a client or a prospect and he has a program, but he has zero testimonials, zero case studies, uh, it's just unlikely that it'll do well, right? And don't do it, right? I would suggest, especially beginners, only work with people that already have a proven offer or a proven concept where people say that they like the product, have gotten results with the product, good results, not just mediocre ones. And I know that it's harder to find these people, but if you are going to work with mediocre people, you cannot expect great results, right? At least not long term. Maybe you'll be able to sell people because you lie in your marketing, but then the business is not going to last very long, right? Anyway, they need to have a proven offer concept where it's just like it's going to be really hard to sell. Um, and if you do want to sell well, you're going to be lying, and that's just like, don't do that. Anyway, number four, the client should already be posting content consistently because this is a problem that we noticed with some of the failures or with the good clients when we saw a decline is because clients were not posting content themselves consistently. If their client is lazy with content and you need to tell them, hey, create content, this is not going to work. All right. If they're lazy at heart, don't work with them because you cannot um, they're the face of the brand. They're delivering the service. They're creating the product. They're coaching the people. If they're fucking lazy, then the business is going to fall apart. They are the product, right? Essentially, if the product sucks, the business is not going to last. Okay, so make sure that they start working. And they are actually putting in the time, making the content, and making sure that their clients or customers actually get the results, right? If it's not the case, do not work with them, right? And you're going to notice that this is kind of the overarching theme of this entire video is do not work with the bad clients, right? Work with the winners. Don't work with the losers, right? Because you can be as good as you want to be, right? You can be the best marketer in the world. You can have um, the best client results. It does not matter if you work with the wrong clients, okay? And this is one criteria of that. They need to be posting content consistently without your like intervenes. Number five. Um, yeah, this is something that I want to like I touched on before. Like I'm not some rocket scientist or whatever. Like this is not that hard. Essentially, in essence, how I got those great results is just by funneling existing attention with, of course, a higher level of awareness, a higher level of intent to a good cause. That is all you're doing, right? You are funneling the attention to a great offer, right? You are not creating attention. You are not creating desire. You're not creating anything. All you're doing is you are using the expertise of your client, the knowledge of your client, of yourself. You're creating a good offer, and then you are funneling that, the attention to that offer. That's essentially what you're doing, right? You can do it with organic and you can do it with ads as well. All you need to do is that the entire puzzle piece aligns. That's the most important thing. For example, if you create an offer, a great offer, but the attention or the audience doesn't want it, then it doesn't matter. You know, it needs to align. Okay. Or if you have this great offer, but people don't even know why they should buy it, then obviously like they're also a misalignment there because it's like low intent, you know? So, but in essence, it's very simple. All you're doing is you're funneling high quality attention, high quality or high volume attention to a good offer that's tailored on that audience. Okay. That's essentially what you're doing. It's not that crazy. You just need to do it properly. Okay. Number six, give yourself long enough timeline to work. Okay. Because I know a lot of you made this mistake as well, or we made this mistake with the agency. We would like tell people they'll get results in X time frame, right? And then we notice like, oh, there's this problem. Oh, there's this problem. Oh, damn, don't he doesn't have this, et cetera, et cetera. And then you need to create those things. For example, if you like, for example, you think the client has a specific product, but then it turns out that they don't because they didn't understand you well, the call, whatever. And then you need to create it, and then it takes a lot more time. And essentially, what I'm saying is, don't tell your clients you're going to make them $10,000 in a week. right? Don't say that. It's just stupid. And they don't expect it anyway, right? Hardworking people know that it takes hard work and time to get great results. If they don't, if they expect great results, if they expect to be a millionaire 1 week after working with you, then they're the wrong people. They're lazy people, you know? So don't tell them you're going to get them super fast, great results. Give yourself enough time. Give yourself 2 months, 3 months to hit a specific outcome, right? If you're telling people like, I'm going to help you scale to 10K, right, or more, because that was my offer. Right now, I'm not really offering that anymore, but then don't tell them you're going to do it like in a time frame that's just impossible for you to hit. I always tell clients like it takes 2 to 4 weeks just to set everything up, right? Because it does. And then after that, it takes another 2 to 4 weeks or like from 2 to 6 weeks to actually hit the target, And I'm being honest. And the hardworking people tend to not have a problem with that. They're just like, I appreciate you even for being honest with me because I've been talking to these other parents that were telling me they'll get me results in 2 weeks. And well, they didn't, right? Um, so yeah, give yourself enough time to work, especially also for deliverables. I remember when I was a freelancer, well, kind of, in a way, I still am. But when I was doing deliverables and I wasn't really helping people with strategy, I was just giving people emails. I would tell them like, bro, I'm gonna give you these 10 emails by tomorrow. Stupid. It's stupid. Like, don't do that, right? Um, it's stupid. The result is gonna be terrible, and you're not even gonna keep your promise. So just don't do that. Give yourself enough time. Like professionals know, hardworking people know that good work takes time. So plus, if you're like implying that this is the only thing that you're working on, that also doesn't really say much good about it. If they know or think that you're their own client, that your own client, um, your only client, my bad, then what? That doesn't really imply a lot of good things either. Anyway, I think this is 7. Follow up on implementation like a hawk. I'm sorry, I don't know what this means like a hawk. This is like ChatGPT help me with like summing everything up. But basically, what this means is sometimes you'll tell clients to do things and they will forget, right? Not because they're terrible human beings or that they're evil or lazy. Sometimes it is like that, but most of the time they are just busy and they forgot, right? Remind them. Have it as a task on your calendar to remind them to do it and to make sure that you only cross it off when it's done, right? I'm not sure if anyone does this, but I have like one task in my list every single day to remind people of things they need to do, right? If you don't have that, if you're in a managing position or if you have clients and you don't have that, like please get yourself that task on your list every single day. They're going to thank me later. Because, like I said, they're going to forget things and it's going to delay launches. It's going to like worsen the results. So make sure you always do this. I'm going to pull myself over here. Next thing is be super system with instructions, right? Like I said, you need to follow up. But the other thing is you need to be very specific with the instructions. If you're being vague or clients don't understand you, they're not always going to ask you for more information. They are just going to put it to the side. And if it's not important, they'll be like, okay, if it's really important, then he'll tell me. But if you're forgetting to follow up, then they don't do it, right? So it's a two thing. Like make sure that you follow up, but also make sure that it's specific in your instructions, right? For example, if they need to like set up a specific software, or if they need to set up an accounts or like a domain or whatever, show them how to do it, or send them a video on how to do it, right? Because not everyone is tech savvy, not everyone understands finances, not everyone understands software or marketing. Show them exactly how to do it. Or even like with if you want your client to do something marketing related, you want them to write something, you want them to film a video, give them specific instructions, how to set up the camera, how to talk, um, where do they look with their eyes, what do they say, how do they say it, give them specific instructions, okay? Very, very important. Otherwise, the end result is just going to be terrible, and you're going to get worse results. Next thing, if there is doubt, address it immediately. Now, this is a big because it's like it's it's so powerful because when you work with clients, like I said, it's not all on you. They need to also put in the work, right? But if they have a limiting belief around something that they need to do, and you like talk about it on the call how they should do this one thing, it's part of the strategy, etc. But they feel restrained, they feel resistance, they don't really understand why they need to do it, or, uh, or why it works. And you don't hear the conviction in their voice, and you ignore it, and you just move on and just assume that they're going to do it. Big mistake. Don't do it. If you hear hope in their voice, address it immediately. This is often true. If you notice that people aren't committed, always address it immediately. Okay, because it's going to become a problem later on, right? So, for example, I work with a client that he needs to post specific type of content where he doesn't just like show people crazy things, but he also needs to talk about why his method works, right? Very important part of marketing. But he didn't really understand why. He was very focused on like getting more followers, getting more likes, instead of actually warming the people, warming that audience up, right? And actually nurturing them, actually making them aware of their problems. He didn't understand. And I noticed this and I did not address it. And then later on, it became a problem, right? And it heavily impacted the results of the project. So when you're on a call and you notice this, just be like, okay, like just be honest, like, okay, bro, just gonna be straight up. I do notice like a little bit of in your voice. Okay, that's completely fine. But can you tell me like what exactly about what I just said doesn't really make sense to you? Or can you just like talk a little bit more about that? And then he will voice his objection or limiting belief to you, and then you just handle it, okay? Um, and then you can move on until like you don't move on until they understand, right? It needs to click for them. Give them analogies, give them examples of past clients, whatever, and only then you move on because it's going to become a problem. And it's going to impact results. All right. Now, number 10 is to have mentors and feedback groups. So basically, when you do a project, um, sorry, it's like extremely on here. I'm thirsty. When you do a project or service, whatever, you are not Einstein. You are not like you don't know everything. Okay. And I'm not saying that Einstein knows everything, but there are going to be things that you don't understand and you're not going to be sure how to address them or how to respond. And typically, when something like that happens, you you can say something to clients like, "Hey, bro, like let me get back to you today, or let me get back to you about that today. Let me get back to you about that tomorrow." Okay, because of like X, Y, Z. Because I'm on a trip right now, or because I'm like uh, not in the house right now. And then you need to talk to someone that has more experience than you about how to achieve or how to solve it. Okay. So this is like have a mentor or someone that you can talk to that can give you that can help you pivot in situations or whatever it is, because you're going to hit roadblocks on the way during the project, whatever it is, and you need to know how to handle them. So that's why don't just rely on YouTube alone, but have a person that you can actually talk to and ask questions. Okay. And I do want to mention that I do have a community program. And I'm actually building out an entire course for it, which is really, really cool. Really excited about that. That is in the link in the description. It's called Disciples. I know the about page, like the sales page, basically that doesn't have anything, but you can just DM me on Instagram or drop a comment or whatever, and I can just explain a little bit more about what's inside. but because you'll get access to me there and you can just ask me your questions, right? But yeah, I just really, really highly recommend that you have this because this is going to heavily increase the chances of your project going well. It's almost like impossible for the project to go wrong if you have someone that you can talk to that has done it before, right? Now, 11, you need to be interested in the space. And I think this is more of a preference. I know people can get very great results in niches or markets that they have no interest in whatsoever. But the reason why I say you're going to get better results if you are interested in the space is because you are naturally have an inclination to know more about it, right? You're going to know the audience better. You're going to understand their problems better. You're going to understand their desire better. Everything will just be so much easier because you have a way broader understanding and deeper understanding of who you're talking to, who you're trying to sell, and what you're selling, right? It's going to make everything so much easier. So obviously, you're going to have better marketing. You're going to have better conversions that way. Now, number 12, and I noticed that I'm like going off script a little bit. Right. Clients should have a buyer list or warm audience. Okay. For example, with the Leo result, right? One of the influencers that had like 21,000 in 16 days. One of the reasons why this was possible was because he already had a big buyer list, right? And we also set up a waiting list as well. These are very, very high intent audiences because they already admitted that they had a problem before and actually took action to solve the problem. This is why, for example, Meta is notorious for having the best ads. It's because they target people that have buying behavior. They're targeting people that already have the intent to solve their problem, right? So if they find an offer that's absolutely perfect for them, they don't have a problem actually taking action on that, okay? And if your client needs the same thing, then absolutely perfect. I also recommend setting up a waiting list for a launch or whatever, because they're just very, very high intent um, lists. And of course, I put a slash because not everyone is going to have a buyer list. But of course, they should have a warm audience. And this is actually similar to like a number two, which is like intent. Okay. Then number 13. And this is actually like the same thing that I put here, I believe. I'm not sure where I put it. But low traffic is death unless you have high intent and a perfect funnel. Okay. So basically, if you have very few people, if you have a very small audience or very small total addressable market, TAM, it's going to be way harder to like get easy results. It's going to be way more effort, right? And the only way to get great results out of them is with high ticket. And it just gets a lot of takes a lot of more effort to put in. So I really don't recommend beginners to get into those situations because it's just so much harder. It's way trickier. There's way less room for mistakes to happen in order to get a great result, right? If you make one or two mistakes with a very small audiences, you're done, right? Results is fine. So I don't recommend you guys starting with low traffic because it's very hard. Don't do it. 14, the wrong model for the wrong traffic size. And these go hand in hand with the previous one. For example, if you have a small audience, and of course, like all of these mistakes come from past experience, right? All of these mistakes come from past experience and lessons. The wrong model for traffic size. So if you have a very small traffic size, even when there's like like hundreds of thousands of followers, because it had a client, or we had a client with the agency that had a very big audience, but the traffic was actually very small, and we didn't know because we were not diligent. We didn't do our due diligence, so we didn't know the traffic was that low. And then we launched a product and it actually like heavily underperformed. We were like, what the hell is this? And it's because the model did not make sense for that low amount of traffic. If you do like a digital product launch for like a super small audience, it's very hard to get great results with like a big team when you need to pay a lot of people. It just doesn't make any sense. if you have a very small audience, your options for business models, they like shrink a lot, right? So then this option becomes high ticket, okay? Or like anything around that model. So yeah, make sure that if you have small traffic, just make sure you have the right model, okay? Number 15, misalignment in goals and values. So what this means is that if you have a prospect and he's a perfect prospect, right? Has the right audience, has the right engagement, like it's educating people, it's hardworking, but there is a clear misalignment in goals, in values, right? And I'll give an example, right? You guys don't know this, but I am, or may not know this, but I am actually like an Orthodox Christian, right? I am not going to work with a client that compromises my faith, right? So if a client is posting like half naked pictures of women, I am not going to work with that client, right? No matter how hardworking he is, no matter how good his numbers are, I am not going to be working with that client, right? Um, Same thing for like dating. If there's a client very working, has the perfect numbers, everything, but he is teaching dudes how to sleep with 100 women every weekend, right? I'm not going to be working with that client. It just completely misaligns with my values, right? And if you don't like handle this in the beginning, it's going to like just consume you, right? And you're going to be sabotaging yourself. It's just like terrible. Just don't do it. If you notice resistance, do not work with the client. Okay, it's not going to turn out well. All right, number 16. I don't have much time anymore, but number 16. Do not ignore red flags early. Do not ignore red flags early. If you notice early red flags, pick them out. Don't waste time. Okay. And I'll mention this with like a recent client of mine that I had to like basically literally tell him we could not continue working together because of well, I didn't really necessarily say that it was for a specific reason, but if a client shows red flags early, address it or like immediately hit the boundary, right? Or immediately just tell them that this is not going to work, right? So, for example, if on a call, um, the client is like very competitive and like doesn't want to listen to your ideas and is not open to uh, understand whatsoever, very likely that this is not going to go well. Cut your losses. Don't waste any more time and just mention that it's not going to work, right? You don't have to do this in a bad way. Like, I just like imagine you're breaking up with a woman. Actually, like I don't, maybe not the best scenario, but yeah, imagine it's like a breakup or whatever, and you just want to make it very like easy. You know, you don't want to like make it too harsh. Anyway, number 17 is do not fixate on vanity metrics. And what I mean by that is no matter if a client has hundreds of thousands of followers, no matter if a client has like deep engagements or whatever, or like so many likes, it does not matter. It does not matter. Don't focus on that. Focus on what kind of results have they gotten for. Are there people actually asking to know about how they did it, etc., etc. If you only focus on the subscriber count, if you only focus on the likes, if you only focus on the amount of followers, that is the wrong metric. Okay. And if you do that and you work with these clients and you're thinking you're going to get great results, you won't. Okay. It's going to be very, very difficult. Number 18. If the client isn't important or makes excuses, it's over. And this is similar to like don't ignore red flags early because this is a huge red flag, right? If a client like makes a mistake, or they're just lazy and they like made it like they did floppy work or whatever. For example, if they like have to post content in a specific way, you instructed them to very specifically do it, and they just do not follow it, right? That's a big red flag. and you need to address that, put the boundary. And if they don't follow the boundary, you just don't continue working with them, right? Um, or if they make excuses, right? If people are like, yeah, I don't have time, I need to like go to work, like I'll do it next week or whatever. Don't work with these people, okay? It's just not going to go well. I'm telling you, you're not going to make a lot of money with these people. It's a waste of time. Number 19. Do not run untested services without transparency. And to be honest with you, if you are trying to like work with someone in a specific field that you have no experience in whatsoever, and you're gonna promise them that you're gonna get them X, Y, and Z results and guarantee it, don't do that, right? It is not going to go well. You're going to have to give refunds, or you're going to have to like, or you're not gonna get any pay from it. It's terrible. I'm talking from all my own experience. Do not do it. If you are trying a more unconventional way or untested way, which I actually do not recommend, but if you are, then always just be transparent with clients, right? And I don't recommend doing this for a first project at all. Only when you have been doing a couple projects already with a client and it's actually been going well, they know that you do not know what you're talking about. Then you can have some, test some things, right? But you always need to be upfront about it, right? Like, yes, this has been proven to work, but let's see how it does for your audience, right? Don't give them the full blown guarantee that you're like, yeah, bro, you're gonna make like hundreds of thousands of dollars with this guaranteed. Like, don't do that. It's just like it's just dishonest, in my opinion, right? Okay, and then the last one, because bro, this video is already 40 minutes long. Now I have been like, this is so valuable if you're actually gonna follow it. But number 20, don't let the client invest ads without a proven concept, right? And this is actually similar to the lab, to the previous one. If you are testing something, do not let your client pour in thousands of dollars into an untested strategy, right? Because if it goes wrong, then essentially, if you want to be like honest, you have to kind of like refund them for all the money that they invested because it's your fault, right? So I just recommend you don't do it at all, right? Unless it's proven, or they know that it's not a guarantee. Yeah, um, don't do it, right? So yeah, these are all my lessons that I've learned from working with clients on how to get the results, or like when I've had specific failures, why those failures happened. This is why. If you follow these, like I, I would say like 95% sure that you're going to get great results, right? Unless you're like you're a retard and you don't know and you don't work hard and everything. But yeah, you may have noticed how a lot of this is just working with the right client, putting boundaries, being clear, having good communication skills, and having a mentor, right? Those are the most important things when it comes to this. That's kind of like all encompassing what it is. But when you have those things, like you'll be fine. Okay, you'll be fine. Don't worry. You don't have imposter syndrome. Because I know how it feels. You'll be fine, right? You'll get great results for your clients, and great results for yourself. All right, I'll leave it at that. We have to go. I hope this was valuable. If it was, please do like the video. Do give a comment. I noticed like make sure that it pushes the video to more people, which is then again helps more people, which is the point. Like I said, if you are interested in joining the community I talked about, where you get access to me, and where I'm actually building out an entire course on how I made my first 10K online and moved to the Thailand mansion while being a college dropout, then join the community or text me and I can talk to you about that. But yeah, that's everything. Hope you liked it. Then I'll see you in the next one.